1. Smite. Smite is basically the love child of Volt's Shock and Loki's Irradiating Disarm, because it can be used one-handed in homes and on enemies. This is very forgiving for any player with bad aim, which is always of use, and it's even better when you note that Smite is a guaranteed knockdown to the first enemy it hits, and a guaranteed radiation proc. The projectiles that appear after initially using Smite then also home in on nearby enemies, which have a chance of also applying radiation. Smite's basically a point-and-click confusion. 2. Renewal. Renewal has an infinite cast range, but it takes time to travel, which is a major flaw of Renewal. Timing isn't really applicable to Renewal, because even if your heal arrives too late and an ally goes down, their bleed-out timer will gain time, allowing you plenty of opportunity to reach and revive them. Besides that, Renewal is a pretty decent healing ability. Here is an example. Please note that the only two mods I had equipped at the time were a maxed Vitality and a maxed Intensify. Basically, my health went from 58 to more than halfway with just 30% additional power strength. 3. Reckoning. Unlike other forms of CC like Vauban's Bastille, Reckoning has no limit to how many enemies are forced upwards. Reckoning is actually like a miniature Bastille, because it can hold enemies in place for a few seconds, initially from the start of Reckoning, and continually from the blind that applies to enemies from Reckoning. Reckoning has a chance of spawning health orbs where enemies have been slain, and even if no enemies were killed, they get confused into attacking each other. Reckoning is what I'd call a dual-purpose ability, because it functions as a brutal damage ability if it can kill enemies, and it functions as a crowd-controlling ability thanks to its confusion and blind effects. 4. Ease of availability. Rather than dropping from a set boss or area like most other frames, Oberon can drop from any Eximus unit in the game, whether the Eximus is a Corpus, Grenier, or even Corrupted. This universal accessibility means that even the most casual of players can obtain Oberon by simply progressing through the star chart, or just doing void missions. Much like RNGesus and Prime parts, some get Oberon parts when they don't even try to, because they're focusing on something else such as running the mission. Because of this, it's uncommon to see anyone who doesn't have at least 2 Oberon parts. 5. The Jack-of-all-trades moniker. To be truthful, I used to be part of that Oberon's totally shit group, because I rarely saw him and because I genuinely thought he was the Meg of the Warframe universe. However, after spending a decent chunk of time playing him and seeing him in action, really I've completely reversed my original stance. While Oberon does remain a jack-of-all-trades, there's no denying that he does have a noticeable role outside of being played by Oberon lovers and mains. If nobody in a squad has a Trinity or even an Inaros, Oberon can fill the role of healer. If nobody in a squad has a crowd-controlling frame, Oberon can fill the role. Obviously this doesn't typically happen among high-level players, but this can be quite common among the inexperienced section of the player base. It is true that Oberon is good at fulfilling certain roles, it's just that he's not the best, which is why he's often overlooked. Just the fact that other frames are picked over Oberon indicate that he requires changes to make him a more popular choice, in the form of a minor rework. He doesn't need an Excalibur level rework, all he needs is buffs to his Hallowed Ground and overheal capability to his Renewal. I said it before, and I'll say it again. If Vauban and Limbo did not exist, I would main Oberon. Probably. Thank you for watching.